Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Live on ServiceNow webinar titled NextGen, Learn How ServiceNow is Making the World Work Better for Everyone. Quickly, I would like to mention our safe harbor notice that we have here, that this presentation may contain some forward-looking statements, and these statements are based on our beliefs and assumptions on information currently available to us as of the date of this presentation. This recording will be saved and dropped into the community site and posted. And please feel free to revisit that at your leisure so that you can read this statement in full. Join us for future webinars and meetups. All right, so this Live on ServiceNow series, it occurs regularly. It's an interactive event series. And so there are a number of different topics. They may cover speed deployment, adoption, how you achieve value faster. And so you can go online and find a full list and calendar of those events. You can see that schedule by scanning this QR code. And in addition, a link was just shared in the chat for you to access the schedule for the events. Brief housekeeping rules for our time together today. Please stay on mute. There's going to be time for Q&A after the presentation. Please feel free to use that Q&A feature at the end of the presentation or throughout the session, whichever you prefer. If you drop questions in the Q&A or in the chat, we do have a designated individual, my colleague, will be addressing those questions as they arise as he can. If there's something that's good for the greater order, we will cover those questions at the end of the presentation during our Q&A session. Also, as I mentioned before, this session will be recorded and it's going to be shared on the ServiceNow community forum after this session. Lastly, after this session ends, you're going to be prompted to fill out a survey. Thank you in advance for completing the survey. As we all know, surveys are important. They give us very good, worthwhile data so we know that how we can continuously improve the work that we do and that we can continue to meet all of your needs. So please, please, please complete that survey. Thanks again for joining us. I want to take a second to introduce myself. My name is Jessica Pincham-King, and I am the Senior Manager of Racial Equity for the NextGen Professionals Program. My colleague, Juan Castillo, is here with me today, and he's the Program Manager for our AMS programs at the NextGen Professionals Program. Juan's going to assist me with this presentation, and he'll be engaging and answering those questions in the chat. So please feel free to address. So we have a quick poll for you all. Okay, we have a poll that we want you all to fill out. How often have you experienced challenges in finding ServiceNow talent in the last 12 months? All right, so think about the last 12 months, your pursuit of talent. How often have you experienced challenges? We'll take a little bit more time. We have about 15 guests here. We only have 9 people that have responded. So I'll wait a couple more seconds for the rest of us to respond to that chat. About half of you participated. Okay, so I'm going to in the poll. Thank you. So we have the majority of you have experienced some challenges, right? 4% say always, 40%, excuse me, 4 of you say always, 5 of you say sometimes, and 1 person says never. Okay, let me go ahead and X out of that. So here's some common challenges that we've identified in NextGen that we see our customers and partners experiencing in terms of recruiting talent and getting highly qualified trained talent. Challenge number 1, and this is in no specific order of importance or level of challenge to be specific. These are just challenges in general and the numbers are arbitrary. So the first challenge that we've identified is that The open roles, there are a limited pool of candidates, right, that can fill those roles. That's one challenge that we hear quite often from our customers and partners. Another challenge that many of you may have experienced is having those open roles and also fulfilling your diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging goals. We know that every company does have some DEI goals, and you're very adamant and intentional about accomplishing those goals and incorporating them, but it's a challenge with fulfilling them. Another challenge that we've identified is your ramp up costs, right? That talent to time value for the early in career employees, right? So in terms of the challenges you face with hiring, right, and the NextGen program, here are just a few benefits of hiring from us in NextGen. We've had 1,000 people graduate. We will have, by the end of this year, 2022, we would have 1,000 people graduate from our NextGen program, right? So that means there's 1,000 candidates available for these open roles that you have, right? Some of the benefits of hiring from us are that you'll be able to have a diverse team. And we know that diverse teams spark creativity, right? You can attract new customers and you can broaden some of your sales demographics as well because you have this newly sparked diversity. With that, hiring from us can contribute to your DEI goals and solve some of the growth challenges that come with headcount, while also reducing those costs and your ramp up times, right? What's important to note, like, this is free, right? Free learning for our participants, and it's low to no cost in terms of hiring fees for your companies. There are a number of ways to get involved and get engaged with NextGen for our customers and partners. You can be a guest speaker. You can deliver a professional development session for our participants, review some of our end of program presentations. We have a final project that really encompasses all of what our participants have learned throughout their time with us. And we invite outside individuals external to ServiceNow and within ServiceNow also to attend our presentations and our final project showcase. You can also participate in employer days and our hiring events and the job fairs that we host. And most importantly, what I really want to drive home, you can interview our candidates and also you can hire them, right? And it can feed all of your goals and reduce and mitigate those challenges that I identified previously. I think another element that you would love to hear is that, again, it's $0, no, low to no cost in terms of hiring on your part at this time. So you heard all those benefits and you're like, oh, this sounds good. But some of you may be thinking, so what in the world is a NextGen Professionals program, right? So at NextGen, we make the world work and work better by providing opportunities for all. We break down traditional barriers that come with entering into a technical career within the ServiceNow ecosystem. By doing that, we empower people with skills, pertinent skills for tomorrow, to change their lives and to build a brighter future by really getting them started and sparking their newfound career trajectory within tech. We present this program regardless to whether an individual has previous technical experience or not. So we're a bridge, right, that we help to create people's future careers, regardless of their prior exposure or experience with tech. The overall purpose of our program is to close that technical skills gap in the ServiceNow ecosystem. And we do that by providing training, certification, and mentoring to accelerate the learning process for our participants and then expose them to employers and career and professional development in order to get them employed and to fill in the gaps that we're seeing in the ecosystem between open roles and the individuals highly qualified to then engage in those roles. In terms of our curriculum and what we provide, we are a virtual 12-week curriculum, and we provide the following courses to our participants. Our participants receive ServiceNow Fundamentals, Scripting in ServiceNow, Service Portal Fundamentals, as well as ITSM Fundamentals and ITSM Implementation. They also get some on-demand content. All of those courses, those 5 courses that I just walked through, are instructor-led courses, virtual-led instructor courses. So they are literally sitting at their computer, engaging in a course, They have ebooks and textbooks. They really dive into the curriculum, and they have opportunities to have hands-on learning exercises to really drive home the content that they're learning in those classes. In addition to the virtual instructor-led classes, they also have some on-demand content that they engage in. And this is occurring through Now Learning on Demand, and we also employ Code Academy. At the end of participating in our programs, our participants receive some exam vouchers for certification. They get the Certified System Administrator voucher. That coffee is starting to kick in now, so now I'm going. They get the voucher to take that exam. They also get the Certified Implementation Specialist exam voucher. And we have those vouchers, they're free of charge to our participants, and we allow themselves time to study. And when they feel is ready, they take that exam and they become certified professionals. A unique component for our program that sets us apart from many other programs is one, our employment metrics, and two, our ability to incorporate mentorship. And this is a very key piece of our program. Our participants receive mentors from within ServiceNow to support and guide their learning along the way. And so these mentors provide them insight on building their resumes and LinkedIn profiles, also interviewing skills. And what I really enjoy is that our mentors leverage their own personal and professional networks on behalf of our participants to help really get them going and ramped up for their professional careers in tech. Another challenge, the first challenge, that we discussed previously is open roles, right? And not having qualified candidates to fill those open roles. The roles that we train for in NextGen are the Associate System Administrator, the Associate Developer, and the Junior IT Consultant. Our participants are equipped with the proper technical skill sets, right? I mentioned previously that they go through a number of hours of the technical skills training, right? They also receive professional workplace readiness and well as experience-driven program components. So the workplace readiness components have to relate to how they professionally present themselves, their presentation skills, their ability to collaborate, and they work on group projects. In addition, they present in a technical and non-technical manner, right, to demonstrate their learning. Another interesting piece of our program is that our participants are able to have the unique connections with customers and partners while they're matriculating in the program over the 12 weeks. We have individuals that come in and give presentations on a day in the life of X role. We also have individuals that talk about their companies, right? That also spend time with our participants to prepare them for a technical interview and guide them about what to consider for roles if you're with a customer versus what a role looks like if you're with a partner. And so participants really have the opportunity to take stock of what their overall goals and interests are and align that with their further career pursuits. 95% of our graduates do enter into the ServiceNow ecosystem. In terms of addressing the challenge of fulfilling DEI goals, the NextGen Professionals program is very intentional on focusing on racial equity, gender equity, and the relief of poverty. Now, we train anyone. We are not exclusive, and we do not prohibit individuals of various identities from engaging in our programs. We really mean it when we say we want the world of work to work better for everyone. And with that, we're very cognizant of how some individuals and some demographic groups have been prevented for opportunities to enter into tech careers. And so we have an added layer of our mission to really hone in and focus on equity as it relates to racial equity, gender equity, and then also ending generational poverty by relieving people and having them channel for meaningful employment. With that, we focus on some underserved populations, which include but are not limited to veterans, people of color, focusing on Black America, also focusing on the reskilling population. We have individuals that come to our program who have a diverse kind of experience of their skill sets. We've had individuals who may have been a hairstylist, a truck driver, who may have been a frontline service worker at McDonald's, or maybe they were a teacher. And we know that there has been a crisis in the past few years in terms of educational professionals' experiences, and they're choosing to transition out of education. And some of them reskill through our program. And we've also had stay-at-home parents who are choosing to re-enter the workforce, or who are ready to re-enter the workforce, and they're part of our reskilling population as well. So we really are diverse in terms of the individuals that we serve and train. We also have diverse educational backgrounds. We have individuals who may only have a high school diploma as their highest level of education. We've had some who have a GED, a general equivalent diploma. They may have not finished high school, but went back and received their GED, which I must say is no easy feat or no easy task. We also have individuals who have bachelor's degrees, and we have some who have had a master's degree, right? Master's education and a master's degree. And so it really runs the gamut. And what I find enlightening is that even with all the diverse experiences and backgrounds and the diverse educational levels and attainment, our participants, they still collaborate and work well together. We're very intentional in creating an environment of community, of support, and of rapport and collaboration, because we know that if we do that, it creates an environment of intentionality whenever our individuals have to engage with the technical curriculum. They have a greater likelihood of being successful in that curriculum, which means that that has implications for how they are prepared with the technical knowledge and the career and professional development and the soft skills to successfully land that interview and successfully gain that job that you all are going to offer them. Having diverse individuals and fulfilling these DEI goals also prompts innovation, right? Because people come with diverse experiences and backgrounds, right? Diverse understanding of problems and coming up with creative solutions for those problems. Subsequently, individuals that graduate our program will be wonderful cultural adds to your company versus a cultural fit, right? Because they do have the diverse skill sets, the diverse orientations to the world and diverse experiences, and they differ so greatly. This brings innovation and enlightenment to the roles and to your company so that you don't continue to do the things the same way that you used to, right? You have new insights, new information, and new approaches to the way in which you do your work, but you also have that commonality of the technical skills training needed to successfully engage in your role that we provide through the coursework and the subsequent certifications that our students receive. Lastly, the challenge related to ramp-up costs. It can take months for employers to get to billable hours. We know that. And part of that is the level of preparation and training that it takes when you have early in career workers. We minimize some of that ramp-up time by making sure that individuals are prepared with the proper technical skill sets, right? ITSM, Service Portal Fundamentals, ServiceNow Fundamentals, right? They get all of that information. And they also have opportunities to continue to engage with content on Now Learning. And we're very adamant and intentional with really pushing our participants to continue to upskill themselves even beyond the 12 weeks that they spend with us in our program. In addition, this ensures that their technical skills are demonstrated. We require them to demonstrate the skills that they gain through a number of activities in our program, and we assess them during the learning activities. In addition to the micro certifications, we have actual presentations, teach backs that are required by our participants based on the content that they learned the particular week. They have a guide or a teaching assistant who views these presentations. They present them in learning pods amongst their other cohort members. They provide feedback, what worked well, what didn't, what are some future enhancements, and we really prompt them to dive into work intentionally with the learning activities so that they can be better prepared and they can set themselves apart in that process of pursuing a job. We also account for basic on-the-job scenarios, right? And also accounting for nuance with those scenarios, right? It's not just so straightforward as you go into the portal, you click this, you download these individuals, you export this list, you load it back up. What happens when it's not working, right? What happens if someone gives you another task to work on and you get thrown off and you have to come up with an additional solution while also meeting the previous task, right? We try to account for some of those scenarios so that they can be better prepared and well equipped to be successful. And again, our participants, many of them, about 55% of our participants, prior to completing the 12-week program, they have their CSAs in hand, which means that while they're taking the content, they're studying and they are also taking their certification exams. We also are very intentional with helping our participants understand that there is no rush, that it is also to their added benefit to get some on-the-job training and skills prior to taking that exam. But we also give them the autonomy to do what they think is best for them, because some of our participants do have prior technical skill sets and prior technical experience, and so it may work best for them. So for a brief overview, looking at the NextGen talent pipeline, we recruit individuals from diverse backgrounds. Some of them may be recent graduates, some of them may be career changers, they may be restarting their career. We also work with service members or veterans and underrepresented minority groups. And we provide a cohort training model for our participants. And that training model includes the technical skill sets training that I discussed a lot, as well as practical hands-on learning experiences for them to really drive home that learning, that technical training that they're receiving. We also have a culminating capstone project that happens at the end of their 12 weeks, where they really have autonomy to take everything that they've learned, apply it to a topic of their choice with their group members, and put together a presentation that provides creative solutions to the topic and the issue that the topic has they've identified for that topic. And they present it in a capstone presentation showcase. In addition, we support upskilling and entry into EIC employment through employer engagement. As I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, we welcome guest speakers. We welcome individuals to participate in our employer days, such as our hiring events, interview days. We have interview days coming up on this Friday. And we have a senior manager that's really doing her due diligence to coordinate efforts to ensure that our participants get interviews. But beyond getting the interview, we want you to hire them so they can land that job. Our participants are employed by partners, they're employed by customers, and they're also employed internally into our company within ServiceNow. Brief overview, they get the ServiceNow technical curriculum as well as on-demand content. Again, that technical curriculum is ServiceNow fundamentals, scripting, service portal fundamentals, ITSM fundamentals and implementation. For some programs, we run programs globally, as well as we have a couple of different focal areas in AMS. And so we do have one program that receives the application development fundamentals. That would be our Veterans Skill Bridge program, the transitioning military members, as well as JavaScript and Code Academy. The CSA voucher, Certified System Administrator, the cohort that gets app development, they will get a CAD voucher. And then we also have the CIS Implementation Specialist ITSM voucher for this exam. In addition, our on-demand content, we do Flow Designer, platform, implementation, performance analytics. And our professional development piece is something that we really love. And we really lean into at NextGen because we provide hands-on labs. Again, that project and the presentation components and the teachbacks that we employ, as well as we do a lot of work around soft skills such as presentation skills, resume writing, interview skills, how you think of your personal brand, as well as building out the LinkedIn profile. What I neglected to mention previously that is very important for a number of the populations that we work with, the demographics that we work with, is that we do a lot of work around growth mindset, because we want them to be prepared to engage in our 12-week program, because it is very rigorous, but then also be able to engage in their career whenever they do experience challenges, so they can start to conceptualize how they would continue to have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And lastly, we also offer that mentorship component that I mentioned previously. So in regards to next steps, if you're interested in hiring from our program, which I really do hope that you are, please reach out to our Senior Manager of Employability, Carol Cordiero. She's working very diligently globally to ensure that we partner with partners and customers so that we can make sure that we ramp up our employability piece. We get our participants interviewed, but most of all, we get them hired. So please reach out to her if you would like to work on a partnership to hire from our program. If you want to get involved, right? If you want to be a guest speaker with our program, if you want to work with us on professional development, professional preparation, we welcome you to do that. Feel free to reach out to myself or my colleague Juan Castillo, and we can coordinate that and or put you in touch with one of the other program managers so that you can work with their cohort specifically. Or if it's to brainstorm what that presentation or partnership or involvement would look like, we're happy to take a moment or moments to do that with you as well. If you happen to know, shameless plug, if you happen to know someone who would benefit for our program or who would be interested in joining a NextGen cohort, please have them apply. Our link is apply.servicenow.com. We will be ramping up more cohorts for 2023. We already have a long wait list of individuals for our last and final cohorts happening this calendar year. However, they're welcome to apply to get ahead of the game in order to join a cohort for 2023. In addition, I believe it was dropped in the chat, our website, the link to our landing page for even more information about the program and how we work cross-collaboratively across, that was a mouthful, across ServiceNow and the work that we do, as well as our mission and values and why we do it. With that, I would like to open up to any questions. Juan, please go ahead.
Hey Jess, I have one question in the chat that says, one, is the program full-time? So that, and then can we submit our own employees for a cohort?
Yes, the program is full-time. It is a virtual 12-week program. Excuse me, it is Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So when I say our participants are really committed and they're doing the work and the training, we mean that. In terms of submitting your own employee for the program, our main focus is on individuals who are looking to break into tech and who haven't necessarily gotten the skill sets, right? The technical skill sets in order to qualify for roles. There are some other opportunities to engage in on-demand content and learning through Now Learning. Maybe Juan can give you some more information to tell you how to pursue that. But in terms of our program specifically, individuals within your company, depending on their role, let me say that there is that caveat, they likely already have skill sets beyond what we will be sourcing for our participants. Juan, is there anything you would add?
Not that I have, but I see Kate Shemowski on the call. So Kate, I don't know if you have anything to add, but she might be able to provide more clarity around who's qualified and who's not qualified to join our programs.
Yes, the program is a global program. We have cohorts here in AMS. We also have cohorts in EMEA, in the UK, as well as cohorts in APJ, mostly in Australia.
Hey Jess, we got a question in the chat. What kind of labs are in NextGen? You want me to cover this one, or would you like to?
You got it.
Okay, so some of the labs we do is, so in our first week, we do ITSM F fundamentals, so ITSM fundamentals, And in week 2, we'll do a teach back. So that is not a lab, but that is the activity that follows week 1. So after you get the content, you review the content on demand, work with your pod, and then deliver a 10-minute presentation on a few objectives from the course. And then when we get into ServiceNow fundamentals, we have a capstone project that works as a more of a final project, right? Did you get what you needed out of ServiceNow fundamentals and apply that? Raven, I believe you asked the first question and I submitted that to you in a private chat. It is apply.servicenow.com, and that is where you can apply directly. And if you are in a CSA course, that is the primary objective of the NextGen program. So please reach out to that nextgen@servicenow.com email, and we will answer all the questions about joining a cohort there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So if there are no further questions, we can end this session early. Again, thank you so much for attending to learn more about the NextGen Professionals program, as well as learning and thinking about how you can partner with us, right? And help us with our employability metrics and really getting our participants employed in your companies.
And just with one last thing is we will have a future hiring event in Q4 of this year. So if you are looking to recruit from our partners, please reach out to Jess and I to get involved in that future hiring event.
Thank you.